Hi, it's me again. I want to talk again with you, whoever you are and are enjoying to watch my video. As I said in the first video, I feel like this is something that I'm supposed to do. I am happy and I feel convinced that this is something good and that I want to share different thoughts that I have, different things that I think, and just talk with you about different aspects of life and just things in general. I've been thinking lately if I would ever let my kids have a TikTok account. And this might be very weird, might sound to you, because I do have a TikTok account and I lately started to just spend a bit more time on that, invest more time into creating some content. I'm trying to be careful not to wander too much into it and just scroll and just spend a lot of time into that. But that being said, I am 34. I am a grown-up adult, and although it can be dangerous for us because there's a lot of stuff there, even though they have regulations, they have different rules obviously in place, but you know, even if there are rules, people always try to find ways to not follow them, and you'll always be put in front with different things that you wouldn't be happy for yourself to watch and to listen to and think alone of children. So if you would be to ask me if I would be happy for my kids to be around TikTok and have an account, I would say no. Until they're 18 and I can decide for them, I wouldn't allow that because I think it's very dangerous. I don't want to be misunderstood, but I sometimes been there on TikTok just by scrolling. You see different young people who are there maybe just exposing a bit too much of their body, or using some language that they shouldn't be using, or listening to some stuff that has a very foul language that I think they shouldn't, because what you listen, what you see, what you hear, that's what you're gonna grow in your head, and that's what you're gonna reflect. And it's an age where it's not hard to say that you don't agree with that, but people are gonna pick on you and say you're against things moving forward, or just this is normal, this is a new normal. I'm not against new technologies and things advancing, because I am a person who likes new things in general, and I'm a quite technological person, and I just feel change is necessary and it's normal. But I do not agree with the fact that how this social media work for kids and for young people. I think they're very dangerous because they can get exposed to a lot of things that you wouldn't want them to. Because once you see something, you can't undo it. You can't unsee something that you've seen. Once you hear something, a certain thought, then you will wonder one day, why do you think certain things in a certain way? Well, it's because you've heard a lot of them. Because what you hear, that's what it feeds your brain, that's what you think at some point, and that's what you're going to do without realizing it. Those things dictate into your head, into your heart, what you should be believing in. It's important to choose carefully. What do you feed yourself with? Not with only the food, but what ideas do you feed your head with? And this is something that I've been doing lately, being very careful also with my kids, what cartoons they're watching. I'm not against cartoons. There are a lot of people who are not allowing their children to screen time. I am not that person 100%. I would like them to spend a bit less time than they are at the moment, but I'm not against because I think there are good things that they can gain from that, and that's the era we live in. There's a lot of things into the technological way nowadays. But that being said, started to be a lot more careful around what my children watch, because there's a lot of things out there put into cartoons that I do not agree with, that I wouldn't expose my children that early. I feel the online is not a safe place for my kids, because so many people can have access to them through the different things that they are being shown, that they are being taught. And maybe some people might feel comfortable with that, but I am not. And that's one reason I wouldn't allow my kids to have social media, because, you know, just only from my experience, I already have an experience of 2 years and almost a half of YouTube, and my channel hasn't been an exploding channel. My other channel, I'm talking about, not about this one, but I'm talking about the kind of people that can reach you. Obviously, people will reach you that don't think the same way that you think, and that's fine, because we're not supposed to all of us think the same. Like, even in here, might be people who might listen to this content that I'm making and might think, well, I do not agree with you 100%, or I agree just partly, or I don't agree at all. Well, that's fine, because you can say that, you can express that if you say it in a polite manner, because it's okay. We are fine to disagree with each other's way of thinking, but you have to know how to say it and just be polite, and remember that behind every screen there's another person, a real person that has feelings, that has a life, and you just have to be mannered and know how to talk with people. I think it's something we have to master anyway. On that behalf, I will start to read a book on how to learn how to keep conversations with people, because I think it's important that we learn that, because it's not something we've been taught. We should be taught more about this in schools and in school years, and how to talk with people. But anyways, but there's people out there who will disagree with you, and they will come and they will tell you loads of words and swear at you and just share so much hate on you. And sometimes it's hard even for grown-ups, for adults, to take that in, to know how to manage it and not to get affected by it, and know how to limit the access of those people in your life. But you are grown up. You are more likely to have solid figures in your life and to know who you are. Most probably you should, if you don't, work on that. And you shouldn't let yourself be guided by those thoughts that people might have, those negative things that being said in the wrong way. And young adults and children, teenagers, and you know, all that range, I think they shouldn't be exposed to that. They shouldn't have that kind of people around them. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying I'm a perfect mom. I still have times when I might get angry, and sometimes you have to get angry on some things and just let your kids know that they did something wrong, and, you know, just correct them and discipline them the way you think it's appropriate for their age. But I'm not saying I am perfect, but you want as less possible people that have a bad influence on your children. And definitely people who will come and just share some hate on them, those are people that you won't want them in your own life, let alone having them in your children's life or in a teenager's life, when they have so many doubts anyways, and they just start to figure out who they are, who they want to be in life, what do they want to do, what career they want to pursue, and all that stuff. And you know, and then through these channels they are exposed to all of that, because you don't know who's coming. And the one thing that scared me so much is, and it scared me even if they're not my kids, you know, but I have a teenager, so I kind of put myself into those shoes. Like, if that would be my child, what would I do? If that would be my daughter, what would I be comfortable? And I see like young girls who do those TikToks when they do dances, like very provocative dances and they just dress less than they should, and I'm not even searching for those, like they just pop out. And then imagine people who search, maybe if they search me, what would they find? I'm just thinking that's not something that it should be. You've seen me changing 3 different settings, but what I'm saying is it's very dangerous, I think, in my opinion, for young people. I don't think they should be allowed. I think those are spaces where only grown-up people should be allowed. And I know that they want to get access to that, especially teenagers, because they want to be grown up, they want to be valued, they want to be there and counted as, you know, almost those grown-up people, and be feeling that they belong to. But that's not the place for them. That's not the place for them. And it scares me that maybe some parents don't know, maybe the kids do it without their knowledge, and that's scary, because you should be able to watch after your kids. And I don't want to say this as a judgment, because it happened to me too, that the kids managed to install some games on the phone that they weren't allowed, or, you know, different things. They do that. Kids do that. Kids try to break rules. That's how they learn. They learn that that's not allowed. They try. That's our nature. We always try to break rules. And the parents' job is to help them understand that boundaries are good. Boundaries are not bad. Boundaries are good. But it's scary to think also that some parents know and they consent to that, and they're happy that they have a certain success. And I was just thinking these days about all the different shows and became famous through different shows. And I was thinking, like, a lot of them became famous through different things, either being High School Musical or other films, or maybe Hannah Montana, or those places, you know. But so many of them, the more fame they had, even Home Alone. Let's just think about Home Alone, no? More famous they became, the more exposed to the Hollywood, and through all that comes with it, probably. I don't know, but I'm just assuming that that's the case, because they all have that in common. Most of them have that in common. They became very lost at some point, just being on drugs, on alcohol, or on other stuff. And there's definitely something there that wasn't good for them. Not something that wasn't good for them, because it affected them that way, or maybe because of the fact that they maybe been pressured to do that at some point because of the fame. I don't know what's the algorithm into it, but it's definitely not a place where you want your kids, in my opinion. If you want them to grow happily and without worries, because I think that can just put so much pressure on them. And it's not the same as when you do vlogs, because you might say, well, you do vlogs, you expose your kids, because yes, we do vlogs on the other channel, and I might do on this channel, but it's not the same, because we're not under a contract, we're not this famous, let's say, and I can always say one day we'll just stop, and it just stops. And it's not all around them. They are part of it as much as they feel they want to be included, but not a major part, like they're not the focus into it. But I was thinking, this are places where you don't want your kids. You don't want your kids being famous into, I don't know what film or what singers. 'Cause I wouldn't want my kids to have the life of that person or that other person, or I just don't want to say names like publicly. I don't know if it's appropriate or not. Even different things, like for example, I liked Britney Spears a lot when I was young. She was my idol. If you would ask me, she was my idol. And I liked her so much. And now looking back and thinking, like, a lot of things that I thought and I had in my head was from from the model that she was for me, because she was a model for me. I'm thinking I wouldn't be comfortable, my girls, to have posters with her when she's wearing underwear and the bra and or just talking some words into some songs, very explicit, being put towards sexual stuff. I wouldn't want my girls. I wouldn't want my girls to dress like her, even if they look good. And I don't want to judge her. That's not my point on here, but I'm saying I don't think those are the models that I want my kids to have. And I don't think that that kind of life did those people good. Definitely gave them money, but if you look on how much depression and how much other issues they gave them, like drugs or alcohol abuse or other things like that, most of them are like that. Most of them. Rarely you find people who manage to hold themselves well into that, and the pressure is very big. And that's the thing that can become into this social media things, into TikTok and Instagram is not that big. Not, you have to have certain limits on Instagram and you just manage, and even YouTube. But I think TikTok is much more accessible, and I think that's where the danger comes, because I can see a lot of young people out there who are kind of copying things that they hear in songs and in other videos, and they just think that's the trend, and let's do the trend. And how much pressure does the trend does on that? It's like the same thing when the fashion, you shouldn't be, my opinion is, you shouldn't be following just fashion because it's fashion. You should be following what's your taste and what do you like and what you feel comfortable into. You shouldn't be guided by something just because that's what some people just woke up one morning and they thought that's nice. And I think that shouldn't be that way in general. I'm worried about the generation that's coming at some level, because that's the generation that my kids will grow with and that my kids will work with, and will have those kids growing up and becoming a new generation of grown-ups, of people who will run the things will take care of the older ones that will be, or stuff like that. Anyways, and I'm worrying because I think these things will impact them negatively. And what kind of people are we gonna have in our society? What kind of people are gonna rule our society if we don't put more boundaries around them to help them? People sometimes think boundaries are bad, but boundaries are very good, especially for kids and for young children and young adults. And everyone needs boundaries. We also need boundaries as grown-ups. We need boundaries. I need boundaries. I need boundaries to know, okay, the latest that I go to bed is that time, because otherwise I can just keep going. Or I need boundaries on knowing what to do and what to not to do and different things, because boundaries are not bad. It's like when you're being in traffic with your car driving, you need to know what the rules are, boundaries. You can't just go whenever you want. You have to follow when the red light is there. You have to stop, because otherwise you're going to cause an accident. You're going to might bump into someone and die even, you might kill someone. Boundaries are not bad. Boundaries are good. The same principle applies in everything. We need boundaries, and we need boundaries especially for the people who are vulnerable, especially like children and young people. And I think it should be more supervised, and it should be like an alarm raised even more than might be. I think there's more people that maybe think like me, but not saying enough maybe, or I didn't hear them. But I don't know, it's just some thoughts that I have, and I just thought I wanted to share, because this is what I've done lately. Like the last few days, I've just built more my TikTok account, and I just came across all these things, and I just thought, well, this is what I think, and let me know if you think the same, or if you have different thoughts, or if you just think partly like me, or maybe you just have different thoughts that I haven't. thought about, just write them down in the comments, and I will be more than happy to be seeing what you're sharing with me. Yes, this is some of the thoughts that I had, and I'm more than happy to just start a discussion and just discuss about it and just see how this brings on. I hope everyone that sees this doesn't misunderstand and understands that this is just some thoughts that I have as a parent, as a member of society, and it's right that I can express this, and I haven't been mistreated anyone by saying anything wrong about anyone. I'm just thinking about things out loud, especially as a parent, because I'm mostly that's what I'm motivated by, you know, just thinking about where do I bring my kids up and what do I expose them to, and those things. So I think we should think about that, and even if they're not our kids, they're the people who will be in our society, and if we don't take care of those who are growing into our society, that's the people that are gonna rule. That's the people, the presidents that we're gonna have, the politicians, the people that are gonna work in different places, and the people we're gonna meet on our streets, the people that are gonna drive our buses, our cars, or whatever. It's our responsibility to just shelter them from different things and just help them have as a pleasant, let's say, or I don't know how to say, like, we're less negative things into their lives as growing, because that's the time when they can be mostly affected by. And I hope that this made you think, maybe, and just please share down below. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I should have thought about different things or different, I don't know, but let's just talk about it. Let's just talk and just see what this brings on, and we're gonna just talk more about different things on this channel into the following videos, because I intend to do more. I like it so far. I enjoy this kind of content, and I enjoy this project of mine of having this channel and sharing my thoughts in my third language. And I love talking in English. I just I love talking in each language, but I don't know, there's something about English. I've always liked talking in English, and now I can talk more. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to share in this video, and see you in the next one. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do support me by subscribing, so you're gonna be notified whenever I post another video. And follow us on TikTok, and on Instagram, and on Facebook you can follow us. And yeah, let's just keep following each other. Good to have you with me. Bye.